Right. Okay, just give me one sec. Make sure we're all set to go. Okay. Okay, we should be good to go. Yep. Cool. Yeah, I want to make sure everything is set in stone before I, don't want to do, again, this is the first time. I don't want people to call me an amateur on the first live stream. All right. Okay. Well, we are live here. Okay, so welcome for those just joining. This is Bryer Showcase. Bryer Cisneros here, and this is the first ever live stream that I'm doing. So again, I'm going off the cuff basically. So forgive me if I ramble on a bit, and also let me know if you can hear me. Again, I'm not sure. I know the mic the red light is on the mic, but can't always tell half the time, Okay, so, but I'm just gonna assume we're good. Okay, so like I said, we're live. On top of that, it's my birthday today. I'm officially 23 years old. Okay, and people are just joining in. We have 4 viewers right now. And first comment from my good friend Jason, the old millennial. Hey, Bryer. Hey, Jason. Glad you can make it. All right. Okay, 23. Wow. Man, 23. I mean, 23 is kind of one of those ages where it's like, it's important. I mean, it's another year, but it's not like 25, 25 is like a quarter of a century. So 2 more years until we get there. But yeah, what 23 brings me. Okay, and Jason again saying happy birthday. Thank you very much. Okay, so like I've been saying, this is my monthly CD haul type of video where I'm going to go through all the CDs that I've bought and acquired throughout September. We have quite a lot here to unpack. Okay, so we have 7 viewers. Glad to see you. Okay, so here's what we have. We have this stack to talk about. We also have, hope I don't drop anything, this stack to talk about. And hold on, this is the biggest stack. Hold on, gotta get a good grip. This stack to talk about. Okay. Carefully don't break anything. All right, good. So I think in total, this is like 34, like 30, somewhere over 30. I'm somewhere around there. So we have a lot to get through. So I'm going to try to get through them as quick as possible. Okay, and of course, in the chat, you can go ahead and talk about your thoughts on any of these. Also, any questions you might have. This is a perfect time to get to know me a little bit better. So if you have any questions, make sure you can do that as well. Okay, so we do have some more comments coming in. So we have MN, also known as Mickey, also from Southern California. Glad you can make it. Happy birthday. 23 is a good age. Thank you very much. We have Christopher Barker. Hello. Glad you can be here. Okay, and Jason coming right before the new millennium. Yeah, I know. Crazy. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started now. So I'm going to talk about this small stack first because there's not much to talk about and there is a reason for it. So some context here. So basically, if you recall, for those of you who remember, my uncle gave me a box of CDs, and I already picked some ones that interested me already, but then about not long after that, I did a follow-up video where I went through the ones that I did not pull, just so I can get some feedback as to some engagement, kind of help me if there's any more CDs in that box that's worth keeping. And these are the ones that I ended up choosing. So again, not much here, but I'm going to get through these pretty quickly. Got a notification here. Never mind. All right. And Kay, got another more comments here. Christopher, it's October. I'm feeling in the mood to get some death metal in the collection. Well, more on that later. Okay. Then we have Mike. Hello, Bryer. Happy birthday. Wow, 23. If I could be 23 again. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I want to be 6 again. So we can't, there's no winning, is there, when it comes to age. Okay, so now let's do this. So the first one I'm going to talk about. Okay, this one is by John Mayall. Hopefully I said that right. So this is John Mayall and the Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton. Okay, so this came out in 1960, I believe. And this, again, John Mayall, from what I've looked up, he's a pretty well-known blues musician, very big during the 60s, and Blues Breakers was kind of his project. And on this album, he collaborated with Eric Clapton. He served as second guitarist. Okay, and basically what this is just your typical 60s blues rock type of sound. I mean, stuff like I don't know, like Cream almost, even though Cream would incorporate psychedelic rock, but at the core, a lot of blues in here. Like also like early Fleetwood Mac, like the Peter Green Fleetwood Mac, basically something like that. What's interesting, and funny enough, I mentioned Fleetwood Mac. Funny enough, this one actually features John Mayall, no, not John McVie. Sorry, John McVie on bass. Yeah, the same John McVie who would later be Mac. And what's kind of interesting about this particular CD is that so for some reason they credit John McVie as drums, even though John McVie is always known as a bass player, but on this CD they say he's on drums, which is kind of odd. So I'm not quite sure why they did that. Again, it might be a typo. That's my guess. But yeah, this is pretty good. I'll say I'm not the hugest blues rock fan, but when I'm in the right mood, then I might play this every once in a while. So yeah, I like quite a good one. I'll put them here for now. This one, I had never heard of this person before, but a couple people in the comments said I should probably look into this one. So this person's name is Lee Ritenour, and this is like a greatest hits compilation called Collection. And for those who don't know, basically it's Lee Ritenour is kind of mostly known as like a jazz guitarist. And a lot of this stuff is like, this came out in 1991, so it's like late 80s, early 90s type of jazz. And what that is basically a lot like very easy listening. It's not like your traditional jazz, which is very horn based and piano. This one has a lot more keyboards, and the guitar. There's like no like, I mean, there's no like raging solos or anything. The guitar is mainly like for textural purposes. But I quite enjoy this, honestly. Again, it's not nothing crazy, nothing mind blowing, but for an album where it's just like, if it's music to kind of just relax to, then I think that's pretty good. So yeah, I recommend you check this out if you're not familiar. Again, if you're into like easy listening type of jazz. All right, from here, these two kind of go together because it was kind of weird. I think this is like a late 80s type of thing. And it was kind of this is during a period where whenever there's a pack with two CDs, then it's kind of like they're in two separate jewel cases rather than being in one case. So that's kind of what we have here. So, funny story, not long ago, Jason, who was here, I was on his channel. We did a live stream where we talked about our favorite animated movies. And somebody asked what was the worst animated film that we saw, and I think it was Jason. I believe it was Jason, but he talked about Fantasia as his least favorite animated film, and ironically, that's what I have here. This is the official soundtrack. This is all the instrumental music, but on two CDs. So this is disc one. This is disc one, and I dropped it. And disc two, no cracks. We're good. Real quick, Mike Short. Hi, hello. Glad you can be here. And yeah, Jason, I knew it. All right, but yeah. So yeah, like I said, this is just the sound. This is just all the orchestra, like the classical music, but on CDs. And it's actually not bad. I mean, will I play this often? No, but I mean, I know Fantasia was pretty groundbreaking for its time, especially with terms of the visuals. But yeah, I'll keep these around. Again, I probably won't play these very often, but might as well have them just for historical purposes, I guess. Okay, next, Christopher Barker. Reminds me of Therion and Aventasia. They did dual releases and two separate releases. Okay, interesting. Never heard of those two. Okay, maybe I should let me know what what kind of genre are they and what kind of album that's worth checking out. All right, and this is kind of the last one of these like from my uncle's collection. We have Ray Charles. This one is Genius Loves Company, and I looked it up, and this was actually the last album he released. I can't remember if this was posthumous or this was just before he died, but basically what this is basically a collaboration album. Like pretty much, I think every song here is a cover or something. But you have a lot of guests here, and he does duets with a lot of people here. So you have Norah Jones, James Taylor, Elton John, Natalie Cole, who else? Willie Nelson, Michael McDonald, Gladys Knight, B.B. King, Van Morrison. Like it's like an all-star cast basically, and it's pretty good. Some of the songs I kind of already knew. Like there's a cover of "Sorry Seems to Be the Hardest Word." Here we go again. Hey Girl. A lot of classic stuff. Over the Rainbow is another one. So yeah, I like this one. Again, might as well have some Ray Charles in the collection. I do like Ray Charles. I just haven't really dived deep into his discography. I know his like big hits like and stuff like that, but nothing else besides that. So yeah, Ray Charles, Genius Loves Company. Pretty fitting title. Okay, Paul Davis. Hello. Glad you can be here. All right, so that's the first pile done. Okay, so next, let's get to the second pile, which will be this one right here. So, first up, some of these things you've seen before on the channel, mainly because I did unboxing videos on them. I am going to include them here, mainly because I do want to give my thoughts on some of them, because I did listen to them. So first up, we have this one. We have America Original Album Series. Funny enough, Sam St. John, another channel I watch, he recently did a video just today, and he even talked about this exact same collection, which is kind of funny. But I did get this recently as well. So basically, this is the first 5 albums from the band America. So let's just see what this includes. So of course, as the debut, so let me just pull that up. Here it is, self-titled. Then you have Ventura Highway. Oh, no, it's not Ventura Highway, Homecoming. Ventura Highway is on this one. Next up is Hat Trick, Holiday, and Hearts. Yeah, Hearts. And America, I've always known of them, but never really dived deep, and so this was probably a good thing to invest in, to get just a good way to get five CDs in a row. So America, like early on, they were very much and probably still are, very known for their folk rock sound, and also they occasionally delve into soft rock as well. And yeah, some great stuff. I really enjoyed going through these 5 albums. A lot of good stuff. I mean, what I do love about them is their vocal harmony. Again, they sound great together, and all 3 of them, I think, all sing, and they all sound great. If I were to pick probably my favorite album of these 5, I would say Homecoming was probably my favorite. Probably the strongest one, I think. Like a lot of great songs in here. I mean, this has Ventura Highway, of course, to each his own, Don't Cross the River, Moon Song, let's see, Till the Sun Comes Up Again. Yeah, great stuff. And I would say my least favorite, if I were to choose one, I wouldn't say any of these are terrible, but I think probably the weakest one is probably Hat Trick. So not as strong as the others, I think, but still decent. And of course, funny, for those who don't know, I believe starting with Holiday, and even on Hearts, You have George Martin producing, like the George Martin who worked with the Beatles, which is pretty crazy. So, so yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, that's America. I would say I recommend this one if you want to get into the band. Probably a good starter pack here. So yeah, let's go and move that over here. Next, we have Mike Burke. Happy birthday, young man. Thank you very much. Glad you can be here. Okay, next, we have Jesus Christ Superstar. Like, this is the original album from 1970. Of course, this was the brainchild of Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice. And this is their little, I don't know how to say it, but their little, what's the word? Their attempt, they're not really attempt, because I think they did pretty well, but they tried to go into a more hard rock sound. So basically it's a rock opera. So open it up. This is kind of what it looks like. It's not crazy in terms of the packaging, but it comes in 2 discs. And basically this was before Jesus Christ Superstar became this big Broadway and also movie, became a big phenomenon. But it all started here. And I mean, of course, you have Tim Rice, who wrote the lyrics, and you have Andrew Lloyd Webber, who worked a lot in the music department. And you have a pretty big cast here. Of course, most notably, you have Ian Gillan from Deep Purple playing Jesus, which is, I mean, it's Ian Gillan. I mean, if you know Ian Gillan, you're going to get some great vocals from it. Just absolutely fantastic performance here. I mean, he's shrieking up a storm. It's like everything you want from him. And this was kind of, and at this point, Ian Gillan was still somewhat unknown. He did already release one album with Deep Purple by that point in rock, but not long after he joined Deep Purple, he went on and did this, which is pretty cool. Of course, let's see who else is in here. Let me get the booklet out so I can see who else notable. I need to see. You have Murray Head, who played Judas Iscariot. I already mentioned Ian Gillan. And then you have Yvonne Elliman, hopefully I said that right, who played Mary. And of course, Yvonne, I knew her prior to this. Of course, she was on the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. She did If I Can't Have You. That was a big hit during the disco era. But it was kind of cool seeing her in a different setting, because I only knew her from the disco stuff. So it was kind of cool seeing her early on. So very cool. And there's all sorts of people here. So yeah. Again, I am very happy with this one. I really did enjoy this one. I say it's an album you have to listen to from beginning to end, because it does kind of flow into each other, and it's a complete story. So that's Jesus Christ Superstar. Very cool. Okay, move that out of the way. Okay, this one I'm not going to talk about too much, because there's really not much to say that has not been said. Of course, I mean, what's there to say? I mean, it's Led Zeppelin 4. I know, you're probably thinking, what? You didn't have this album till now? Yes, I did not own this album till recently. I have heard it, though. I've heard this on Spotify for many years, but I never owned a physical copy of it. So good thing I have this now. It's probably their most well-known album. It's not my favorite Led Zeppelin album. It's close though. Of course, it has Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Stairway to Heaven, of course, Going to California, When the Levee Breaks. I mean, it's a classic one. It's one of the most, probably again, like I said, it's the most popular album, I think. And so not much else to say about it, but again, good to have in the collection. Okay, we got a couple more in the chat here. We have Mike. Hey, I've got a question for keen CD collector. Which do you prefer, jewel cases or digipacks? That's a good question. I would say, because I do like digipacks. They feel nice rather than your typical jewel cases. Of course, I mean, they both have their pros and cons, I think. Jewel cases, I think they're slightly sturdier, but they crack. They can crack quite easily. While for a digipack, they're also quite sturdy, but if you're not careful, you can kind of rip the artwork if you're not careful. So I think I'll slightly go with jewel cases just for now. And by the way, I just spoiled one of them I was going to talk about, but we'll get to that one later. So I got a few more, but yeah, I'll go with jewel cases for now. Jason, I really like Jesus Christ Superstar. Great songs like I don't know how to fall in love with him. Yep, that's a great song. Heaven on their mind. Yep, and Pilot and Christ. Yes, very good choices there. Okay, Christopher Barker. I had Led Zeppelin 2. Need to get it back. Yes, I need to get Led Zeppelin 2 as well. Actually, no, I do have it. What am I saying? It's right. Let me just see. It's right here. What was I on about? Put that back. And ironically, I'm wearing Led Zeppelin right now. Got the shirt. All right. Anyhow, jewel cases for me. Yep. And Mike, John Mayall, Blues Breakers, awesome CD. Yeah. Okay, let's keep moving on here. Next step, Deep Purple. Funny enough, I just talked about Jesus Christ Superstars not long ago with Ian Gillan, and now we're back with Deep Purple. Okay, this one is called Now What? This is a 2-pack. So disc 1 is the actual CD, and disc 2 is a bonus DVD and some bonus audio content. So yeah, this one's one of their more later albums. This came out in 2013. So by this point, the lineup consisted of Ian Gillan on vocals, Ian Pace on drums, Steve Morse on guitar, and Don Airey on keyboards, and of course you have Roger Glover on bass. So, and this album was dedicated to John Lord because he was the OG keyboardist, shall we say, and he passed away. Again, I can't remember if it was before or after the album came out, but somewhere around that time. So this album was dedicated to him. And yeah, this is a really good one because I've always wanted to get into the more like newer Deep Purple catalog because I'm very familiar with the early stuff, but not so much the new stuff. And I went with this one because I hear a lot of people say this is probably one of the best ones of the Steve Morse era, as people like to call it. And I agree. This is very strong album. Again, very heavy. Don Airey, like there's a lot of keyboards on here by Don Airey, and they sound really good in my opinion. Of course, Steve Morse, very cool, very great guitarist. Of course, we all want Richie Blackmore. I mean, that's a given, but I think Steve Morse fits into this band really well. And Ian Gillan, by this point, he wasn't really doing any more of that high shrieks that he's usually known for. Can't really do that anymore, but again, even without the shrieks and the screams, you still know it's Ian Gillan. He still sounds great in his lower register. And so, yeah, so for those of you who are kind of sleeping on new Deep Purple, check this out. This is really cool. I like this a lot. Okay, let's keep going. All right, Fleetwood Mac's up next, and I showed this one in my last unboxing video, and this one is Mystery to Me with probably the strangest cover in my entire collection. Like, what can you make of this? You just have a kind of gorilla type thing trying a cake, took a bite of a book, and it looks like he's even crying as well. So I don't know what that has anything to do with Mystery to Me. I mean, it's a mystery what the cover means. That's probably what they're talking about. I solved it. And on the back, you have this weird old guy on the back, which is kind of why. And then you have a random penguin there as well. I guess it's supposed to be a reference to the previous album, which was called Penguin. I'm just guessing. So let me see who is on this CD, because by this point, this was before Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks joined. By the way, Mickey, Now What is a great album. Songs sound great live, especially Vincent Price and Uncommon Man. I agree. Yeah, those are two great songs. Big highlights from there. Okay, anyhow, so let me see who's on here. Let's see if it actually tells you. So I know this was produced by Martin Birch, who of course would produce many notable bands like Iron Maiden, Blue Oyster Cult as well, like a lot of big like hard rock and metal bands. So pretty cool to see him here. He's also engineer. So on here you have Mick Fleetwood, of course, drums, of course. John McVie, bass, of course. Now you have Christine McVie, because she's been in the band for a long time. Then the two other members are Bob Weston on lead guitar and slide, and Bob Welch on guitar and vocals. So that's the lineup at that point. So this came out in 1973, and I mean, I'm not too unfamiliar with early Fleetwood Mac, because I do own another one of their earlier ones. Let me see if I can pull it out real quick, because I have Bare Trees, which is almost the same lineup. I know Bob Weston was not on this one. I think you have Danny Kerwin on here. Put that back. But anyhow, back to this one. I love this album. Like, no joke. Like, album cover aside, this is a terrific album. I know people say Bare Trees is a good album from this period, but I think I like this a little bit more than Bare Trees, honestly. Again, some great stuff. I mean, you have Bob Welch, who is by this point one of the two songwriters, and you know, I really do like his voice, his guitar work, and his compositions has a slight jazz feel to them, and I think they sound great. And Christine McVie, I mean, I'm just gonna say Christine McVie is probably my favorite member of Fleetwood Mac. Like, I've always loved her songs, and even early on, she was just incredible. Like, I really love all her songs on here. I do want to bring up one of her songs on here, which is actually the final song, which is called Why, and that's a gorgeous song. I really love that one. Of course, written by Christine, and yeah, just a beautiful song. I don't hear many people talk about it, so if you're not familiar with early Fleetwood Mac, go check out Why. Why? Because it's great. Jokes aside, yeah. So yeah, Mystery to Me, again, baffling cover, but music in here is fantastic. So that's that. Let's see. We got a couple more. Gotta agree, Bryer. Great album, terrible cover art. That's correct. And Mike, we have two mics in here. I just noticed that. Good Fleetwood Mac album, but terrible cover. I agree with Mike B. Yep. Okay, let's keep moving. Okay, we have 6 viewers in here. Actually, 5. Never mind. Oh well. I'm glad for those 5 people here. Glad you can be here, by the way. Really appreciate you. Okay, next we have a Greatest Hits. We have the Supremes, another one that I unboxed not that long ago. I mean, there's really not a whole lot to say, but it's just a Greatest Hits with a lot of Supremes, songs by the Supremes. Of course, Diana Ross, one of the key members here. I always forget the other two. But I'm going to look it up, actually. Like, real quick. I'm going to look this up so I can give the other two women their due. So if you hear the typing, that explains it. Like, I'm trying to find I know the Supremes had many lineup changes, but I want to find the most famous lineup. I believe Mary Wilson and Florence Baylord. So those are the other two. Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, it's Motown. I mean, who does not like Motown? I mean, the Supremes were one of the biggest acts from Motown records. Just absolutely great vocal work by all 3 of them, and just some timeless songs. Even though I don't think they wrote a lot of their songs. Like, I don't know if they wrote anything. Honestly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, just great vocal work. I mean, that's the big highlight from this group is the vocals. How many times have I said the vocals? But it's true. So yeah, I definitely recommend this particular collection because there's 2 CDs and there's a ton of songs. There's like 40 in total. So this is a good one. So those are my favorite types of greatest hits compilations where there's 2 discs and there's a ton of songs. So yeah, go get this one if you want some Supremes in your collection. Okay, Mike, I agree with you, Bryer. Mystery to Me has got some great stuff. Rip Bop Welch. That's right. I did hear I heard he killed himself. So yeah, kind of sad. Christopher, the Supremes are great. Yep, they are. Okay, next, Heart. I don't think I unboxed this one. I don't think so. Yeah, we have Heart, we have Dog and Butterfly. I believe this was their 4th album. I could be wrong on that, but I believe that's their 4th. And I mean, again, Heart, this was still during their early period where they were kind of more into that more hard rock and slightly folky sound, but they have some more commercial stuff here. The first half it's a bit more rocking, and the second half is kind of a bit slower, but still fantastic. Straight On was one that I was big hit, was a pretty notable song on here. I love that song. And then the title track is just gorgeous, really beautiful song there. Cook with Fire, Not a One, Lighter Touch. Yeah, 1977 this came out in. Actually, no, that's when Little Queen. This came out in 78. Let me just verify. Yeah, let me just verify that real quick. So Heart, Dog, and Butterfly. I don't want to get the date wrong. Whoa. Okay, almost there. 1978. I was right. Cool. So yeah, always good to have some Heart in the collection. And I love the album cover too. It's simple, but I think it fits the album very nicely. So, very good. Let me just fix this up real quick. And again, this is also a time if you want to ask questions, like if you want to get to know me, then feel free to do so. And I'll be looking at the chat very frequently. So if you want to ask any more questions about me in general, then feel free to. But let's keep moving. Actually, got a comment just came in. Christopher again. I almost bought Rush 2112, but the case was busted. Yep, you're gonna that. I mean, if you got that from Amazon, yeah, that's gonna be a common thing. Luckily, if it comes busted, if the case comes busted, luckily I have spares. So if a CD comes cracked, then I can just replace it. So I don't get too angry about it. I used to be mad at it early on, but I kind of softened up a bit. Mike, I love Motown. Rip Mary Wells. She passed away last year. Oh wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, rest in peace to her. Okay, let's go back to the 60s now. We got Jefferson Airplane with Surrealistic Pillow. And Christopher, it was a Walmart shove. Oh man, I didn't buy it. Oh, what the heck? Well, that's that. Well, then again, I haven't been to Walmart in a long time. I haven't really bought anything from Walmart, so I don't know how they're doing their stuff. Oh well. But anyway, Jefferson Airplane, great 60s band, great psychedelic rock band from this period. Of course, Grace Slick, great female vocalist. And it was I've been trying to get into Jefferson Airplane for a while now because I hear many people talk about them. And I bought this one because this is probably their most well-known album, and I enjoy this one very much. I already knew 2 of the songs. Of course, I knew Somebody to Love and White Rabbit. Of course, those are the big ones. Those are the big ones on this album. But I was pretty surprised. I actually quite enjoyed everything else too. She has Funny Cars Today. How Do You Feel? See. 3/5 of a mile in 10 seconds. Like, odd title, but yeah, I like that. I like that one too. But yeah, I wouldn't it's not that it didn't blow me away. I'll be straight up. It didn't blow me away, but I still enjoy this one. Of course, Grace Slick, great vocalist. Always loved her voice. of course, I was very unfamiliar with the other vocalists in the band, which are the males, and the male singers are pretty good as well. But Grace Slick, like she steals the show for me. So again, that's really hard to say. Surrealistic Pillow by Jefferson Airplane, pretty good. Let's see. And Jason left has a question. You're a guitar player? A little bit. I do know some chords. Like if you see in the background, like that guitar, like that guitar. I've had that for a few years now. I don't play it anymore because it's broken. For one thing, it's missing one string, which is probably no problem because I could just replace it. But the other issue with it is because it doesn't really work anymore. If you were to plug it in, then nothing happens. So I'm assuming there's something wrong in the there's something electrical going on that's not working in there. So yeah, so I should get that fixed, but things have happened. I've been putting it off, but as of now, I don't. Even though I'm not playing that guitar, what I am learning right now, if you can see, is a bass. Yeah, I have a little bass over there. I have been playing that for over a year now. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Again, I think I always found myself more as a bass player rather than a guitar player anyway, because the bass was kind of the first instrument that kind of got me interested in learning an instrument. But the guitar kind of came kind of by accident because my brother had a friend who was giving it away. And so we kind of got it was like an opportunity, so might as well take advantage of it. So I had the guitar for a little bit till it broke, and then I didn't have any instruments, so I got a bass instead. So you can call me a failed guitarist because I switched to bass, but I'm enjoying bass. I like bass. Um, I'm not good enough to do anything right now. So please don't ask for me to do a demo. But yeah, I'm enjoying my bass. Okay, and then Christopher, again, Boston debut was the last album I got. Well, that's a good album to get. I mean, that's like a classic. I mean, gotta love that one. All right, next step. Now this is one I'm not sure if any people in here would know, but if you do know, fantastic. You're already head start of me. So this is a Canadian artist, and this person's called, or her name is Jane Siberry. So I watched Larry Graves or the Canadian Stub Muffin, and recently, not long ago, he talked about he was starting to get into Kate Bush, and while in one of his videos, he mentioned that basically Jane Siberry is kind of like the Canadian version of Kate Bush. And he said this is a good one to start with. And I went out and I did just that. Because he said Kate Bush, and that got my interest. So I got this one. It's a used copy, I think, off Amazon. And I was pretty impressed. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say it is. I mean, I can hear a little bit of Kate Bush. I would say it's kind of. I mean, this came out in 1987 or 88. It's kind of conflicting when this came out, but it definitely has that late 80s production sound to it. I would say the best, and I would say if I were to pick a Kate Bush album that's kind of similar to this, I would probably choose. Let me just stand up a bit. I have to go to the top shelf. So off I go. Yep, I'm wearing pajamas. Don't judge me. It's this one. So I would say the best album that would best describe this would be this Kate Bush album, The Red Shoes, from 1993. Kind of a similar feel. Again, that's not really if you haven't heard this album, then it doesn't really help, but it makes sense to me. Basically, let me just put that up there for now. So, as I was saying, there's 8 songs on here, and there's a couple of long songs in here. Let me just see here. So the first song, the white tent, the raft, is like 9 minutes long, but great song. I think that's a great opening track. Then the second song, which is Red High Heels, which is 7 minutes long. See anything else? You have a 6-minute song for Lena is a white table. Yep, that's the title. And then the final song, which is the bird in the gravel, which is 10-minute song, 10-minute long. So yeah, I definitely enjoy this one. Again, I can hear that Kate Bush. She definitely has the kind of the same tone of voice with Kate, but she doesn't really. I don't think Jane Siberry doesn't really have that dynamic range that Kate has. So, but again, I can kind of hear it. So I enjoy this one. So I recommend people check this out if you're into Kate Bush. So yeah, and this was produced by Jane Siberry as well. So yeah, another thing her and Kate have in common. So yeah, very good. See, okay, Mike Burke, Bryer, I gotta be somewhere, so I'll watch the rest later. Thanks for doing this. Take care and have a great birthday. Regards to everyone in the chat. Well, Mike, thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate you stopping by. All right, and then we have the other Mike. See, so yeah, we have Mike. Yeah, we had Mike B, and then we just have Mike. That's funny. Anyhow, so Bryer, I really like Jane Siberry, and I am in Canada, brother. You should try Bare Naked Ladies, huge Canadian band. I have seen BNL 4 times live. Okay. All right, cool. Let me just write that down. I'm going to write that down real quick. And this is and that's actually a good comment here, because obviously for the people here, if you have other albums that you want me to that you think I'll enjoy, that you think I should check out, leave them here as well, because I do have a list of people that recommend me stuff. So, and at some point I do plan to give those a listen. So let me just find it, and then I'm going to write it down, and then we'll continue. Okay, so we've been live for about 40 minutes now. So, but so far I'm enjoying this. I really am enjoying this one. Again, thank you very much for the people coming in. Where is my list? My notebook is just a mess. There's like so many notes in here, that I can't keep track of it all. I should really organize this better. Okay. Almost. I think I'm getting close. God. Okay, there we go. Found it. All right, now I can write this down. Okay, so let me just write your name, Mike. And Bare Naked Ladies. All right, cool. All right, so at some point I'll check them out. Again, if you want to recommend me an album, that'll definitely be helpful. Okay, Christopher. Thoughts on Creedence Clearwater? I saw some random video talking about them being devil music or something stupid. I mean, I love them. Absolutely love them. I mean, just real quick, back up again. I mean, I have all their albums on CD. Let me see if I can just hold them up. So I have these ones. I have the other 4 as well. Even Mardi Gras. Yes, I own Mardi Gras. So yeah, I love Creedence Clearwater Revival. Absolutely great band. A lot of great songs. And actually, Christopher, if you didn't know, I did a video earlier this year, actually, where I ranked all 7 of their albums. So if you haven't looked into that one, I recommend you check that video out. Of course, when you're done here, of course. Okay, and see, and Bare Naked Ladies had a number one in the US. Okay, called 1 Week, from their 5th album in 1998. Okay, so their 5th album. Gotcha. So I guess I'll make a note of that real quick. Let's see. 5th album. I'll just write 5th album, and I'll write the song 1 Week. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. All right, so let's keep going. We still have a lot to go. I don't even know if we're halfway, actually. I think we're almost halfway. So next up, classic band here. This band needs no further introduction. We have Eagles for One of These Nights. Of course, this came out. This was the album. I believe this was the album before Hotel California. I'm quite familiar with a lot of the songs here because a lot of these songs were on Greatest Hits compilations, and I've heard them on the radio at some point in my life. But yeah, I'm trying to get all the Eagles albums at this point because I think I'm almost there. I think I need 2 more. I need the debut and I need On the Border. I think those are the last 2 albums I need from them. But this was one I wanted to get for a while. By the way, I just need to get rid of the glare. Let me just actually, there we go. That's better. Okay. So One of These Nights, another good album. Probably the big songs I knew from here were Lying Eyes and Take It to the Limit. And fantastic songs. I mean, especially Take It to the Limit. I mean, Randy Meisner, what a great vocalist and a good bass player too. A very underrated member, I'd say. The other songs are great as well. One of These Nights, Too Many Hands, I Wish for Peace, After the Thrill Is Gone, Hotel Waltz. Sorry, not Hotel Waltz. Hollywood Waltz. That's the song. But yeah, always good to have Eagles in here. Yeah, I'm an Eagles fan. I mean, I grew up listening to the Eagles because my mom's a big fan. So yeah, gotta have nothing wrong with Eagles, I'd say. Right. Another comment here. I recommend Bare Naked Ladies Disc 1, all their greatest hits, 1991 to 2001. Okay. Good mix of the early stuff. My favorite CD by them is 1994. Maybe You Should Drive. I recommend. All right, cool. I guess I should write that down as well while I'm here. Sorry. 3 CD suggestions. Lol. It's all right. Thank you. Thank you though. Thank you very much. Let me write that down. Should drive. Okay. Right. Okay, next. Another classic band. Okay, we got Lynyrd Skynyrd, Street Survivor up next. But before I do that, Jason, do you have a bass player that you like to play their stuff the most? Good question. Right now, I would say definitely John Deegan of Queen. Been trying to play a lot of his bass notes. Of course, his bass lines. Like, of course, with John Deegan, he's like very. I've always loved his playing because it's so melodic. Like he'll start somewhere on. He'll start very low on the neck, but then he'll come up very high, and you have these great melodic bits. Very cool stuff. I've also been playing a lot of John McVie as well from Fleetwood Mac, because I've been trying to learn like Dreams and Go Your Own Way. Like those are songs I've been playing a lot recently. So those are, yeah, great question. Okay, anyway, so with Lynyrd Skynyrd, Street Survivor. Of course, this album has kind of a sad undertone to it because this was the last album to be released before the sad plane crash, of course. Big tragedy. I mean, so many people lost their lives there. But yeah, this was definitely for this lineup. This was a good one to go out, I think. A lot of great songs here. So, What's Your Name? Great opening track. That Smell. Great. Love that song. That's probably my favorite song on here, actually. Let me see. Let me just look up. I do have notes. I do have small notes, like some of my favorite songs, because I do want to mention them here. One More Time. You Got That Right. I Never Dreamed. Ain't No Good Life. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, this is just great Southern rock right here. So fantastic stuff. I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame what happened, but this band has made some great music, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself because I don't own that much by them because I only have this and their debut, and that's it. I do want to get more though. So great album, Street Survivor by Lynyrd Skynyrd. Okay. Okay, Jason, I really like the Bare Naked Ladies Christmas album. Okay. Bare Naked for the holidays. If you like Christmas albums. I do like Christmas albums. It's gotta be the right mood though. Gotta be only Christmas. I can't really listen to them any other season. But Christmas time, yeah. Okay, and Mickey, great Skynyrd album. It was the second LP I owned. Very cool. Okay, next, Santana. With their self-titled debut. Of course, Carlos Santana, another guitarist who needs no further introduction. Again, very well-known guitar player. And by this point, this was the first album. I'll read a little history thing here because I think this pretty much sums up this album. Released in late summer 1969, Santana's first album confirmed that local San Franciscans and those who caught them at Woodstock already knew Santana had created a fiery combination of traditional Latin rhythms and rock music that was as powerful as it was riveting. With the core band in place, Carlos Santana on guitar and vocals, Greg Rowley on keyboard and vocals, who would go on to form Journey, David Brown on bass, Mike Shreve on drums, and Jose Chipito Arias and Mike Carabello on percussion. Santana began their journey, changing rock music forever. Does that sum up this album or what? But yeah, fantastic one. Again, it's like it has jazz elements. There's some Latin elements to them. There's some rock elements. It's just fantastic stuff. So I mean, another band that I need to get more of their albums, because for so long I've had Supernatural, which of course had that big hits, which was Smooth with Rob Thomas, and that's pretty much all I had. So definitely happy to have at least some of the early stuff here. And I do love that album cover too. That's a cool cover with that, I'd say, lion thing. And if you look carefully, there's some like other images. Like I think there's two people. Like you kind of see like two profiles here, and I think you could see a face somewhere there. But yeah, this is cool. This is definitely a cover you can just look into for a long time. So yeah, great stuff. Okay. All right, so okay, just checking the chat, making sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay. Speaking of jazz, we have Herbie Hancock with his album Thrust. Okay. So I have already had one Herbie Hancock album, which was part of my uncle's CD, which was Future Shock, which was fine. I liked it, but it was kind of a, like, it had a very hip hop influence to it, and funny enough, that was one of the influence of hip hop when I looked into it. But it was still fine. I'm not the biggest hip hop fan, and that kind of answers your question, Christopher. Do I collect any hip hop, R&B? R&B, yes. Hip hop, not so much. I'm not that much of a hip hop fan, unfortunately. But I don't hate it. But I wanted to get more of Herbie's like real jazz albums, and I got this one because this was one I hear people talk about quite often. And what's cool about this one is actually a combination of jazz and funk. So it's like a jazz funk album, which I enjoyed. I mean, it's all instrumental, no vocals or anything. It's just great grooves, like great keyboards, because Herbie is a piano player, and so there's a lot of keyboards on here as well. So yeah, Herbie Hancock, Thrust, another great album. Really great to have more jazz in the collection in general. Move some stuff here. All right, so now we're in the long stretch now. So now we're in the final stack here. So we're nearly done. Again, we have 6 viewers in here. Again, thank you. Again, I'm going to keep saying that, but I really appreciate those who stuck around this whole time. All right, so now we're getting to the progressive rock section of this whole stack. Okay, so we have quite a bit. Some notable bands, some, and mostly not so well known. So I kind of showed this one already, but we have the debut album, the self-titled debut of Gentle Giant. And gotta say, I do like that cover though. That's pretty eye-catching, I must say. All right, so Gentle Giants, one of the pretty well-known progressive rock bands, and probably one of the most unique ones out there. Like, you definitely can't. It's hard to describe Gentle Giant because it's progressive rock on steroids, basically, because it's so experimental a lot of times. A lot of key changes, a lot of weird melodies. So it's very cool though, and I really do enjoy this one. So I have, besides this one, I have Octopus. That's the other one I own, and I own Acquiring the Taste, which was their second album. So great to have the first album here at least, and a pretty strong debut at that. Of course, it's not. Of course, it was their first album, so they quite found that their sound, but this is still a very top notch for beginning. There's only 7 songs. The last song is a very short instrumental that's like 1 minute and 40 seconds. And this was produced by Tony Visconti, who has worked with like David Bowie a lot. Worked with David Bowie a lot. And yeah, you have Giant, Funny Ways, Alucard, Isn't It Quiet and Cold, Nothing at All, and Why Not, and finishes out with The Queen, which is the instrumental I just talked about. But yeah, great. I liked it. I like this one. Again, they're odd, but in a good way, I'd say. Now, here's a band I'm pretty sure not many people know about. Next, we're going with Egg. That's the band name, just Egg. And this is their second album, I think, called The Polite Force. Very trippy cover. Like, I have no idea what's going on. Okay, and here's the back, by the way. Kind of the same theme. All right, so Egg. This was recommended to me by somebody. Let me just look, because I wrote their name down. I don't think they're here, but this was a band recommended by somebody named Roger Snack. I hope I said that right, but this was a while ago. But I did like it was one of my unboxing videos, I think, where I was unboxing a lot of progressive rock albums, and Roger recommended Egg, and I went out and bought one. He didn't really specify which album to start with. I decided to go with the second one because that seems to be the one most people talk about. So there's only 7 songs in here, and only 2 have vocals. Everything else is instrumental. So a visit to Newport Hospital. So a visit to Newport Hospital is the first song. 8 minutes and 25 seconds. Pretty good. I like it. Again, great keyboards. I like the bass work on this album, I must say. Great bass work. And vocals are pretty good. Nothing like mind-blowing or anything. It's not like a John Anderson. There's no Peter Gabriel. But for what it is, it's good. And then you have Contra Song. Like Contra Song. I think that's how you say it. Contra Song's a weird one because I recommend you go listen to this once we're done here, but go listen to Contra Song. It's very odd. It almost sounds like the vocals and the rhythm or the melody are out of sync. So it's kind of it feels weird. It's weird. Like it doesn't sound in sync, but it kind of is. I can't really describe it. But yeah. And then everything else instrumental. I mean, overall, pretty strong instrumental stuff. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. Like, what's interesting about this one is that the last 4 songs is technically should be one piece. It's called One Piece Number 3, and if you look on the back, it's divided into 4 parts. You have part 1, 2, 3, and 4. I don't know why it's not one track. But you know, that's what it is. What it is, I guess. So yeah, Egg, The Polite Force. I liked it. Pretty good. I need to give it more listens though. I don't think it fully grabbed me yet. All right, so we have officially been streaming for 1 hour now. So yeah, this is going on for a bit, but bear with me. We're almost there. Now we're getting to a lot of the good stuff. Well, not to say everything else was bad. Not to say everything else was not good, but you get what I'm trying to say. Next, we got a live album. Okay, this is one Mickey here has been recommending me. Actually, there's 2 live albums that he recommended to me. This is the first one. We have another one coming up soon, but we have Yes Songs, of course, by progressive rock legends Yes. Again, this is probably a classic live album, especially from the band. I mean, I don't have much to say really because it's basically a greatest hits basically because disc is 2 discs. You have disc 1, which is the opening, which is an excerpt from Firebird Suite, and then it goes to Siberian True, which is from Close to the Edge, and then it goes to Heart of the Sunrise from Fragile. Then you have Perpetual Change from the Yes album, and You and I from Close to the Edge. Mood for a Day from Fragile, and then but you have an excerpt from The Six Wives of Henry VIII, which is just I guess a classical piece. And then disc 1 finishes out with Roundabout from Fragile. Okay, disc 2 has I've Seen All Good People, of course, from the Yes album. Long Distance Roundabout, of course, from Fragile. The Fish, also from Fragile. Then you have Close to the Edge, of course, from Close to the Edge. Yours Is No Disgrace, Yes album. Then to finish the album, you have Starship Trooper, which is, again, from the Yes album. So, yeah, definitely glad to have this one at last. And it's always good to have more Yes. I mean, I love Yes, one of my favorite bands ever. And I definitely need to get more live albums in here. All right, next. Okay, Mickey, great album, still their best live album. Right, cool. All right, next up. This one was another one that was recommended to me by HPSOS. Again, I don't know if he's here or not, but hopefully he sees this afterwards. But he recommended me this band, and the band's called Budgie, and I bought 2 by them. So this is their self-titled debut, and this one they released in 1975. This one's called Bandolier. So this band often gets compared to Rush a lot because, for one thing, they're a power trio, so there's 3 members. The lead vocalist is the bass player, and if you look at his picture, he's kind of has a slight resemblance to Geddy, to a sense. But does he sound like him? That's the question. And I would say, kinda, not really. I think this singer doesn't sound like Geddy Lee, because I think Geddy Lee's on a league of his own, but this guy sounds pretty good. The lead singer is Burke Shelley, who I know passed away not that long ago. Can't remember I think it was last year, or this year. I don't know. I can't remember, but yeah, Budgie were kind of one of the unknown pioneers of what we call hard rock and heavy metal. Of course, you have Black Sabbath, you have Led Zeppelin, you have Deep Purple. But Budgie was kind of a band that not many people gave much notice. And I don't know why, because they sound great. Again, very heavy for the time. Again, this is 1971, but a lot that's very bottom heavy, like very crunchy riffs. So very cool. So this is the debut. And you have Guts, which is a pretty well-known song by them, I guess. Everything in My Heart, which is kind of a 1 minute, it's a short 1 minute song, which I kind of don't really pay much attention to. The Author is a good one. Of course, this band's kind of known for their very weird titles. Like track 4 is called Nude Disintegrating Parachutist Woman. What? I don't know. It's weird. But still, regardless, very cool. Very, very good one. And this one is also no different. Bandolier. I think of these two, I think I prefer Bandolier a little bit better. I think it's a bit more consistent. And again, a lot of good stuff here. I pretty much loved every song on here. So yeah, I suggest you check out Budgie. Again, if you're into early 70s hard rock, kind of proto metal, this is definitely a good one. This is definitely one that you should probably check out. A lot of good stuff in here. Okay. I checked out Yes, The Quest from my library. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let me know your thoughts on it, because I always hear very polarizing. There's a lot of polarizing opinions on their latest album. Some people love it, some people hate it. So curious to see what you thought of it. I've heard bits of it. From what I've heard, it's okay. I don't hate it. But, not much to say. I'll check out Budgie. Yes, please do so. They definitely worth checking out. I definitely want to check out more, because those are the only two I have as of now. So I definitely want to check out all their other what else they have to offer. Okay. And now we get to the other live album that Mickey's recommended to me, and that's this one by Blue Oyster Cult, On Your Feet or On Your Knees. Again, I don't have much to say with live albums, because for the most part it's just their songs. It's just their songs, but live. But still, musicianship is very good. You can tell they were a great live act by this point. By this point, a lot of the songs from here are all songs from their first 3 albums. So you have this Subhuman, Harvest of Eyes, Hot Rails to Hell, The Red and the Black, 7 Screaming Bizbusters. Then you have Bucks Boogie, Last Days of May, Cities on Flame, Me 262, Before the Kiss, A Red Cap. And then you have the other 2. I believe the last 2 are covers. I can't remember. I can't pronounce the last song. I could be wrong. Let me just look this up real quick. Let's make sure. So, forgive me about this, but it will probably eventually. You've probably been through this, where you ask yourself a question and you think you know it, but you're not sure, so you just have to look it up. That's what I'm going through right now. Let me just find it. Wikipedia, help me out here. And I think it's a cover. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, that's basically it. That's all I gotta say for it. On Your Feet or On Your Knees. Yeah, great live album. Sounds good too. I can't remember. Don't know when this came out, but 1975, I think. But yeah, very good. Again, great musicianship. Okay, that band logo reminds me of excuse me, Blind Guardian. Same art style. I think you're talking about Blue Oyster Cult, right? I think so. Because that is a pretty cool logo, I must say. Okay, then you have Mickey. Hopefully, you get a chance to catch BOC live when they are in Southern California in December. Okay, good to know that. Yeah, I'll see what I'm doing then. Hopefully, I can do it. But we'll see. All right, so now we get to this whole section. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 CDs in this. Next 5 CDs are a part of their own category. Okay, so for those of you who are not into like extreme metal, like black metal and death metal, or even thrash too, I include thrash in here, then bear with me. I'll get through these pretty quickly, or as soon as I can. But I'm really starting to get into more extreme metal, so I want to start talking about that as well. Okay, so I'll talk about this one first, because of these 5, it's not that extreme, but if you're not used to it, and it can sound like that. So we have the latest album from Megadeth, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. So again, this came out like not that long ago, like a few weeks ago. Of course, Dave Mustaine back at it again, beating throat cancer, and now he's back, angry, snarling, everything you want from him. All right, and I will say, this is a pretty good album, I must say. I have the last one. I have Dystopia. It's somewhere up there, and I enjoyed that one. But I enjoyed this album too. Let me see. I'm just looking at the credits here. Just looking through it real quick. But yeah, I mean, it's heavy, it's thrashy. I mean, it's everything you want to hear in a Megadeth album, I say. I've heard some people say they aren't into this one, especially because of this whole thing with Dave Mustaine and David Ellison. I'm not into it, but let's just say. But regardless, I mean, if you just remove that, then this is still a very strong album by them. Again, I wouldn't say I'm a huge Megadeth fan, but I've definitely always enjoyed them very much. I have a few of them. I have Peace Cells, I have Rust in Peace, and I have Symphony for Destruction. And like I said, I have Dystopia as well. But yeah, this is a good one. I enjoy this one. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on this one if you've heard this, I should say. All right, let's get to some death metal. I only have one, and that's Entombed, Left Hand Path. Again, death metal is a genre I have not delved that deep into, but this month I decided to change that. And I went with this one because people say it's one of the best death metal albums out there, especially a good one to start with. So that's why we're here. It comes in the skinny digipack, though. That's the one downside of digipacks. I don't like some of them coming in these very skinny. It's hard to store, especially when you have 2 CDs squished behind it. It's hard to get it out. Anyhow, yeah, very good. I might as well say it. I quite enjoy this one. Again, it's heavy, and yeah, the vocals, they are definitely something to get used to. And for those who don't know what death metal vocals are, just think if Cookie Monster was singing heavy music, was singing in a metal band. Just think of that. Picture that how you want that. But yeah, this is still a very good album. Like, it's again a lot of great riffs. The vocals didn't bother me, surprisingly. So yeah, that's a good sign. I think I can see myself becoming a death metal fan at some point. Definitely want to get more though. So again, if there's any recommendations on what other death metal albums or bands, then please let me know. So yeah, very good. Let's see, we got a couple more. Christopher, Left Hand Path is awesome. Swedish Death. Yeah, granted, I can't compare right now, but yeah, I'll take your word for it for now. Jason, is death metal like scream music? Not really. Scream is kind of more high. It's like a high scream. It's more higher, but death metal is more growling. Like I said, just picture if Cookie Monster was singing, I don't know, Black Sabbath or whatever, or not Black Sabbath, maybe like Metallica or something like that. Again, very low, very gravelly, something like that. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's scream music, because that's more like a black metal. That's more of a black metal thing, which I'm going to get to in a sec. But first, let's keep moving with these comments. With Mike, I am a Megadeth fan since 1990. I cannot wait to get the new album. Well, based on what I've heard, I don't think you'll be too disappointed. I think it's very good. Okay, then Mike again. Not big on singer sounding like gorillas, or you cannot understand what they're singing. Not that's not for me. Yeah, again, it's not for everyone, and believe me, it took me years to get into this stuff. So yeah, no, There's no rush. Again, if it's also a thing. You're either gonna like or you're not. Like, unless you're me who kept trying until eventually I got used to it. Then unless you have that patience, then it could work out. But if it's not working, then again, don't push it. Don't push it. Okay, so next up. Okay, now we're moving to the black metal. Okay, so this was also used. We have Emperor. We have Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk. With this very green cover. It's kind of hard to see. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on though. But yeah, very, very good. But yeah, this is my second Emperor album, by the way, because I have, where did I put it? I think it's, because not long ago I bought the first album, which is in the Night Side Eclipse, and I enjoyed this one, and I went out and got this one as well because many people also say this is a good one, and yeah, very good. And I will say I think I might like it better than Night Side Eclipse. I don't know yet. I might need to listen to these two again side by side, but this is kind of again, this is black metal, but this is more symphonic black metal. So there's a bit more keyboard in here. Kind of has a more orchestrated sound, like if it's like an orchestra was playing. Then that's kind of what you get here. But like I said, I might prefer this one, but I'm not sure yet. It's kind of similar to the debut, but I think there's a bit more keyboards on here than the first album. So I don't know yet. Definitely I'll think about it. Again, that's Emperor, Anthem to the Welkin at Dusk. Again, great symphonic black metal. Okay. Let's see. A couple more comments here. How much metal is there? How much metal is there? Heavy metal, death metal, black metal. Oh, there's so many. There's so many. There's thrash metal. There's doom metal. There's what else? There's glam metal. There's hair metal, and then there's all the subgenres like black and death metal, like melodic death metal. Then you have some, like I said, symphonic black metal. Like we can be here for days, basically. So I'm not gonna say them all today, but yeah, there's a ton of metal. Okay, for me, loved death metal since first listen. All right, pretty cool. Good on you. Yeah, it took me a while though, but yeah, good for you. Mike, Bryer, are you planning on getting any Metallica season collection? Best album, Ride the Lightning, 1984 classic. Well, Mike, lucky for you, I do have some Metallica. Hold on, let me go again and get them. Let's see. I mainly have all the classic ones. Let me get the other one. I have, of course, I got Kill 'Em All, first album, Ride the Lightning, and I will say, Mike, this is my favorite Metallica album. Love this one. But of course, this one's not far behind. We have Master of Puppets. Funny enough, I did not like this. This was the first Metallica album I bought, and at first I didn't like it because I was still new to metal, so I wasn't really used to it. But now I enjoy this one very much now. And of course, same with Kate Bush. Metallica got a little boost from Stranger Things as well with Master of Puppets. So awesome. And then I also have in this digipack I have Injustice for All. Pretty good. Again, every bass player's worst nightmare, but I still enjoy it. And I have the Black Album. Yeah, and that I'm not sure if I'll get any more Metallica because I've heard bits of the ones after the Black one, and they're fine, but that doesn't really grab me. Well, who knows? Maybe at some point I'll get the rest. I'll put them right now. But yeah, that's my Metallica collection basically. Okay, Chris Brown. Okay, hello Bryer. Do you have an email address that we can email you some recommendations? I sent a list to your business address, but you probably thought it was spam. I don't know if you got it. I don't know. I'll have to look into. I'll look into that. I'll check that app probably once after I'm done here. But yeah, of course. Thank you for sending recommendations. I'll look into those. All right, so keep moving. Okay, we have next, still in the black metal. Now this is more your straight on black metal. Like there's no subgenre. This is just straight up black metal. Okay, this band is called Judas Iscariot. Funny enough, I talked about Judas Iscariot, which was part of Jesus Christ Superstars, but here he is back again in black metal form. Ain't that ironic? But yeah, this was recommended to me. Was he Chris? I think it was Christopher who recommended to me. Let me just verify, or somebody else. Yeah, it was Christopher. Yeah, Christopher, you recommended to me this album. Yeah, so Judas Iscariot, To Embrace the Corpse's Bleeding. What a title! But yeah, this was. I did hear about this album before, oddly enough, but I think I heard it, but I couldn't remember. But good thing that Christopher recommended to me to this one, because I loved it right away. And what's interesting about this one, because normally when you think of black metal, usually you think of Norwegian, like Norwegian black metal, like Norway, basically. Like that's usually when you first think of black metal. But this is interesting because this is actually an American band. So yeah, Americans can do black metal. Who knew? Jokes aside. So this is interesting. It was also interesting because this was mainly composed. Judas Iscariot is mainly just one person, and you see that a lot in the black metal genre. You have a lot of these like just solo people just making this music. I know he had help on this album. I think he had some session musicians here. Let me just look up the guy's name while I'm here. And Andrew Harris. That's the guy's name. So Andrew Harris is one behind this band. And by the way, Christopher, I see you. Yay! I know. Okay, so yeah. Like I said, I loved it. I love this album. This was great. This is again great black metal. I mean you can hear the influence of what the Norwegian bands were doing, but I think there's a lot to this that kind of makes this one stand out. Let me just verify something. Yes, okay, yeah. There's only 9 songs, and I loved everything from here. Very strong. And what I love about like favorite type of black metal albums are those that mix things up sometimes. Like typically when you think of black metal, it's usually a lot of tremolo picking, very fast tremolo picking, and then the drop beats the whole time, which is fine, but that gets tiring for me personally. But this one, I like it when they change things up. They change, like the rhythm changes up, and then you still get the tremolo picking, but they slow it down, and you get all that here. And so, yeah, if you want to get to black metal, check this one out. Again, if you're not into like the shrieky vocals, then yeah, probably stay away. But yeah, I like this one very much. Okay, Christopher, check out the band Mist of Misery. Okay, let me write that down then. And again, let me know an album that I should check out. So let me just write that down. Let me just write you down. So Christopher Barker again with Mists of Misery. Okay, and yeah, very good. And then Chris Brown again. Bryer, what argument do you use when your friends ask why you don't collect vinyl instead of CD? Well, luckily I haven't been in any arguments. Thank God. But what argument would I use if I did? I mean, that's yeah. I have to think. I have to think about that. But really, I'll just say, I just will kind of repeat why I have CDs. Again, for one, they're for the most part they're cheaper. That's one. Second, they're small, so they're pretty easy to store for the most part. And yeah, that's pretty much all I'll say. I mean, again, I don't think there's many. I don't really see many people arguing about which is better. Like obviously, vinyl will always have that charm that people will always gravitate towards. And by all means, I mean, really, I wish I had vinyl, but it's not at this point. I'm a bit too far into CDs to start. But maybe when I'm older. But for right now, I'm happy with CDs. And if people have a problem with that, then so be it. There's other people you can watch. But anyway, hopefully that answers it. Not sure that answers the question, but that's basically my take on that. Okay, and then Absence is now looked up. Okay, thank you. Let me write that down now, and then we'll continue. I just have one more Black album to talk about, and then we're done with the extreme metal. There we go. All right. Right, gotcha. So thank you. Yeah, glad to help. All right, so now have the final. This is the final black metal album, and then we're gonna be done here. Well, not done here, but we still have some more to go. But this is the last extreme metal. Before I do that, we got more from Mickey. Perhaps CDs. I own no vinyl. I never liked it. Okay. Well, again, we all have our preferences. Okay. So for the final black metal album here, this is actually a live album. I know. I bought 3 live albums this month. Crazy. But we have Mayhem live in Leipzig. I hope I said that right. I think it's German. Yeah, it was live in Germany, East Germany to be exact. Okay, so this was recorded in 1990, but didn't come out until 1993, I think. Yeah, so Mayhem is a pretty interesting one. They're pretty much one of the, I guess, Godfather, or not Godfathers, but the band that really spearheaded the whole black metal movement. They started with the Corpse Paint. They're pretty much like, there's a whole, I can give the whole history of Mayhem, but I can only do so much because we've been live for almost an hour and a half. But yeah, but to put it briefly, so this particular lineup is what many would consider the classic lineup, although they never recorded an official album together, if that makes sense. So this lineup consisted. So let me I'll look this up too, because I don't want to mispronounce names. Mayhem. Yeah. I'm on Wikipedia. I need the live album. Yeah. So yeah, this was their first live album. The lineup at this point is, you have, and I'm going to use their stage names because a lot of black metal bands had stage names. You have Hellhammer on drums, Necro Butcher on bass guitar. You have Euronymous on guitar, and then you have the lead singer, Dead. Yeah, that was the stage name. Yeah, so this came out in 1990. This was recorded in 1990. This was kind of posthumously released because Dead, he killed himself in 1991, so this came out after. So this was kind of the first like release to have Dead on vocals. Of course, they would never record a studio album with him. But yeah, this is kind of an interesting piece because you're getting to see this band who would spearhead this genre, and you hear them at a point where they were just barely getting by. Like, I hear like this CD actually came with a story with interviews with some of the surviving members, and they talk about how crappy the whole place was. and all the crap they had to do to get there. So it's very interesting to hear it. And for a black metal live album, it's pretty much what you expect. There's like no production. It pretty much sounds like they just got like a basic recorder. They just put it near the amps, and that was it. That's all they did, and then they decided to release it. So yeah, very harsh. Again, Dead's vocals again very very influential for the genre. Very again has that had that good good shriek, but also has a nice growl to it as well. Not like a death metal growl, but still there's like a roughness to it, if that makes sense. But yeah, this is pretty. I enjoy this one very much. Yeah, very good. Good to have some Mayhem in here. And it's good to hear them before all the crazy stuff, that will go on. Church burnings, murder, Satanism. That was just the thing then. I don't really affiliate with that, but whatever. Okay, same here, but also Aliphiles. I think that's for the CD and vinyl thing. What about Voivod? I haven't heard anything from Voivod, unfortunately. I mean, if you want to recommend me an album, shoot. Yeah, totally open. Okay, actually, I'll write that down. And then again, Chris Brown, if you want to recommend me an album, you can go ahead and do so. Let me just write that down first. Chris Brown, Voivod. And I've heard of Voivod before. I just never heard anything by them. Okay, so that's good for now. All right, folks, we're in the last. We only have a few more to go. Okay, and now we're going to end off with some more wholesome stuff. So we're done with extreme metal. Now we're back to the more wholesome side. And you can't get more wholesome than this artist. We got John Denver. Yes, right. We got some John Denver. Actually, I should probably switch this around because this one came first and this one came next. Okay, so John Denver, again, folk, country singer-songwriter. I mean, huge in the 70s. I will admit though, when I was a kid, I used to confuse John Denver with Elton John because I don't know about you, but I think they look. I mean, to me they look kind of similar when I was a kid because they both have glasses, they have similar hairstyles, at least during that period. So kind of a little tidbit for you. But yeah, John Denver, very well known. Want to get some of his because I recently watched the Behind the Music episode on him, and yeah, after watching his story, that kind of wanted me to start getting a little bit of his album. So I went and bought these two. So I'll talk about this one first. This was the first one I got. You have Poems, Prayers, and Promises. I think this was the breakout album for him. Mainly because it had the big hit "Take Me Home, Country Road," which love that song. But of course, this one has a lot of covers on here. You have "Let It Be" by John Lennon, of course, by the Beatles, of course. So you have "Let It Be." You have "Junk," which is a Paul McCartney song. Surprising, Paul McCartney from Ram, I think. Then you have "Fire and Rain" by James Taylor, and there's probably other covers here, but those are like the big ones on here. But yeah, still very good. I mean, John Denver has just a smooth, just a real smooth voice, like so crystal clear and so pure, just like a purity in his voice that's very cool. So very good album here. And of course I bought Back Home Again, which funny enough, Jason the Old Millennial recently did a video on this album. This was 41 of his favorite albums of all time. And yeah, I can't argue with that. This is also a very good album. Yeah, I mean, this also had some big hits. Of course, you have Annie's Song, which is nice, really pretty ballad. This Old Guitar is another well-known song. Back Home Again. And then you have this one's a lot more country in here. You have Thank God I'm a Country Boy, Grandma's Feather Bed. And yeah, it's a very good one. I'd say between these two, I think go with this one. Even though there's a lot of covers on this one, really Take Me Home Country Road. I love that song. So yeah, I went with that one. So yeah, so John Denver, very good stuff. I do need to get Rocky Mountain High next. That's the next one I need to get. Okay, got some comments. Okay, Bryer, if you want some technical death metal, Beyond Creation, Earthborn Evolution. Okay. Oh man, getting all these recommendations here. It's exciting. This would be something to look forward to. Beyond Creation, Earthborn Evolution. All right. Okay, then Jason. Now you're talking my kind of music. Both great albums. Yeah, I knew you like those two. Okay, and Junk is from Paul McCartney's first album. Okay, thank you for correcting me. Yeah, I really need to get more Paul McCartney. I just have Flaming Pie, and I have Wings Over America and Egypt Station. That's all I have. Yeah, I'm way behind the Paul McCartney train. Okay, and then yeah, Rocky Mountain High. Yeah, that's probably gonna be the next one I get. All right. Okay, and now this is it. We have the last four, and they're by the same artist. And funny enough, I now have all the albums of this artist, of this particular duo. So it's a duo. So which duo am I talking about? If you're thinking Simon and Garfunkel, then you're right. So I have the debut, which is Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. We have the second album, which is Sounds of Silence. We have the third, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme, and Bookends. And so let me just go get it. Let me go get it real quick. But I've had this one for a while, and yeah, I've had Bridge Over Troubled Water for a bit now. So yeah, I now have all 5 of these studio albums from Simon and Garfunkel. Let me try to see if I can line them up. Yeah. It's hard to. Yeah. Oh. There we go. It's backwards, but you get the idea. So yeah, it started with this one, and I really enjoy this one. So that made me want to get another one, which was this one, which was Bookends, which I unboxed pretty much in the beginning of the month. I unboxed this one. But, the other 3 were pretty cheap, so I thought, why not? Might as well get the rest. So we'll start with the debut first. So we have Wednesday Morning, 3 a.m. And for a first album, I think this was pretty strong, pretty good. I mean, granted, like, I think most of these are covers, but you have a couple originals by Paul Simon. A lot of these were like pretty much the typical songs that many folk people were playing at the time. 12 songs. You have Bob Dylan. You have Buddy Holly. No, not Buddy Holly. Sorry, what am I on about? Yeah. So very good. Very, again, strong debut. Not much to say though. But of course, actually, what's notable about this one, this had the original version of Sounds of Silence, where it was just acoustic guitar and that was it. But later on, they re-released it as a more folk rock sound. Of course, unbeknownst to Simon and Garfunkel, it was kind of done behind their backs, but they re-released it for the second album, which is a more folk rock sound, and I enjoy that one too. Although I will admit, I do prefer the acoustic version more, just by slightly. The rock version's good, but I think the acoustic version kind of fits the overall sound much better. But yeah, so this is another good one, very much stronger, a lot more originals. So let me just see something right here. Like, I'm seeing my internet connection Yeah, it says my connection's unstable. So let me know if I'm still coming through. So hopefully that's not the case, but I kind of expected that, but hopefully that's not affecting. Well, not affecting right now. I mean, I'm looking at the stream on a separate tab, and everything seems okay. But yeah, let me know if something goes off. But as I was saying, yep, very strong second album. Other ones I loved were Leaves That Are Green. Actually, let me just verify. I do have them up. So yeah, Leaves That Are Green, Blessed, Kathy's Song, Somewhere They Find Me, A Most Particular Man, You've Got a Groovy Thing Going, and I Am a Rock. Yeah, those are great songs on that one. So very good. So that's The Sounds of Silence. Okay, and next we got the third album, which was Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. Just get that there. There we go. Okay, another very good one. Again, so like none of these albums are bad. Like there's no bad album because they only released 5, so they couldn't have released a terrible one if they tried. But yeah, I pretty much loved almost every song on here. The only 2 songs I did not particularly care for were The Big Bright Green Pleasure Machine and the last song, which is 7 O'Clock News / Silent Night. Kind of a weird song because you hear Silent Night, but then there's the news played over it. Don't quite get that, but oh well. Yeah, still very good one. And of course, I talked about Bookends already. Well, I did. Well, I unboxed it, but there's Bookends. Yeah, still very strong one. Favorite songs on here were Save the Life of My Child, America, Overs, Old Friends, Punky's Dilemma, Mrs. Robinson, of course, At the Zoo, and You Don't Know Where Your Interest Lies, which, let me see, I think that was a bonus track. Yeah. You Don't Know Where the Interest Is was a bonus track, which I actually kind of liked. So yeah, that's Bookends there. I mean, what else has not been said about Simon and Garfunkel? Just one of the most famous duos ever. I mean, Paul Simon, really got to start here. Got like just incredible songwriter, great lyricist. So yeah, I'm glad I'm glad to finally start diving into the catalog more. Yeah, and their harmonies, of course. I mean, that's no. I mean, that's the first thing people talk about is Simon Garfunkel, their harmonies with each other. So, yeah. All right. So, let me see the other comments. Okay. Wow. Some more great CDs. I like the fact that Sounds of Silence is on 2 different CDs, 2 different versions. Yes. Very interesting. Don't know. Okay. One more. Mayan and Diana. I think. Forgive me if I mispronounced that, but all right, last one. Let me just go ahead. Write that down as well. Mayan, and all right. Okay, so thank you very much. And then Chris Brown, send you another email with that Voivod, etc., recommendations. Okay, cool. All right, thank you. And Mike just has another one. I love Simon Garfunkel and Paul Simon solo and Art Garfunkel solo. Paul is rumored to be working on a new album, and Paul is 80, going on 81 on October 13th. Oh, not long from now. And Art is going to be 81 in November 5th. All right, very cool. All right, I do have some of Paul Simon's. I like 2 Paul Simon solo albums. I have Graceland, and I have The Rhythm of the Saints. Those are the only 2 Paul Simon ones I have. All right, cool. And there you go, folks. That's all the CDs. Oh, that was a lot of talking. and yet I can still talk though. That's weird. All right, so I'm going to do a brief recap of everything I've got, and then I'll probably stick around for a little bit longer, maybe now we'll do it like an open discussion. Like if you have any more questions for me, if you want to get to know me, like ask away. While you do that, I'm gonna go ahead and do the recap on everything I've talked about today. So let me just move things. So I'll work backwards, I guess. So this was not part of it. You have bookends, Simon Garfunkel. Again, Simon Garfunkel, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. Sounds of Silence. Wednesday morning, 3 a.m. I'll probably go till 3 o'clock, and then I'll call it here. John Denver, Poems, Prayers, and Promises. And John Denver, Back Home Again. These were not part of it. It's the Metallica again. Okay, Mayhem, live in Leipzig. Judas Iscariot, To Embrace the Corpse's Bleeding. Emperor. Anthems to Welcome at Dusk. That's a hard title to remember. Entombed, Left Hand Path. Megadeth, The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead. Blue Oyster Cult, On Your Feet or On Your Knees. Okay, Budgie, Bandolier. Budgie, self-titled debut. Yes Songs by Yes. Egg, The Polite Force. Yellow Giant, self-titled. Herbie Hancock, Thrust. Santana, self-titled. Leonard Skynyrd, Street Survivor. Eagles, on One of These Nights. Jane Siberry, The Walking. I don't remember if I said it when I was talking about this, but this is The Walking. That's the title of the album. If I didn't say that, I'm sorry about that. Jefferson Airplane, Surrealistic Pillow. Heart, Dog and Butterfly. Supreme's Gold Collection, Greatest Hits. Fleetwood Mac, Mystery to Me. Deep Purple, Now What. Led Zeppelin 4, of course by Led Zeppelin. Jesus Christ Superstar. And then we have the America original albums series, which had the self-titled Homecoming, Hat Trick, Holiday, and Hearts. Then last ones, Ray Charles, Genius Loves Company, the Fantasia soundtrack, disc 1 and 2, Lee Ritenour collection, and last but not least, John Mayall, Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton. That was a lot. Let me see. Let me get a quick drink because I've been talking for almost 2 hours. Whew. All right. Let's see what you've been talking about. And we'll go till 3 o'clock, so about another 10-ish minutes or so. That's like twice the amount of CDs I currently own. You'll get there one day, Jason. One day. Okay, Mike. Paul Simon, Rhythm of Saints, 1990 is my fave CD from Paul. All right, cool. I think I prefer Graceland, but I enjoyed Rhythm of Saints. That's a good one. Okay, Chris Brown. At one point with the number of subscribers, do you get some monetary income. It would be nice to have enough to pay this for the CD collecting. Yeah, so yeah, when you want to get monetized for YouTube, like there are some requirements you have to do. You have to have at least 1,000 subscribers. That's what you need. So 1,000 subscribers, and let me see how, like, watch time is also a thing. So 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 public watch time hours, and other things, like other stuff, like obviously no community guideline strikes, and then 2-step for verification. That's the given. Also, I'm not sure if copyright claims count, or copyright strikes count, but I'm sure copyright claims are fine, but copyright strikes, no. And then, but yeah, that's basically it. I would love to be able to monetize these videos, because that's probably the dream. That's the dream, really, like to be able to make a living making videos, just talking about music. Like I would do that in a heartbeat. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, I've gotten close on multiple occasions to get 1,000 subscribers, but stuff happens. Like I had, literally, I had 2 channels before this one. I had my very first channel, for those who aren't familiar with, was a Thomas the Tank Engine channel, like back when I was like 10, and I did that for a while. And then I had another channel after that where I talked about cartoons. That went pretty well. By the way, the Thomas channel got like almost over 700 subscribers. It's actually still up. Like you can find it somewhere. It's called Tank and Play Engines. That was the name of it. Take and Play Engines. So if you want to look where I started, go check that out. Then I had another channel where I talked about cartoons. I don't recommend you look at that one. I'm not really proud of that channel. It got 400 subscribers, which is fine, but I'm not really happy with that one. So I don't really recommend you. I'm not going to say it here because I don't really want to acknowledge it, honestly. But that got to 400, and then finally I landed here, which is where I'm currently at. And I'm still having a good time here. But yeah. But bottom line, yeah, I'd love to make a living doing videos. Jason, my favorite album that you've shown is Poems, Prayers, and Promises. Yeah, that's a good one. Jason, have you gotten any Tom Petty albums? Adam wants to do a top 10 Tom Petty songs this month, so I've been binging Tom Petty music because I'm not that familiar with him. Yeah, I'm not that familiar myself. I know some hits. I only have one Tom Petty, The Heartbreakers. Let me just find that real quick. I have this in last name, so it's probably in P's. Somewhere here. Almost, yeah. Here it is. Yeah. This is the only Tom Petty album I have. This is Into the Great Wide Open. So yeah, I'm not that familiar with him. I'd like to at some point, but never really. I don't like. It's complicated. I love Tom Petty. I like Tom Petty, but I don't. He's not really an artist I'll go listen to on a regular basis. Like only certain songs I would. But maybe one day. I'll take that deep dive. Okay, cool. All right, glad I can help you there. Gosh, I only have one channel and it has less than 140. Don't worry, Jason. You'll get there. I mean, hey, it's I can see it's growing. It's growing steadily, and that's good. It's better than zero. That's how I see it. At least it's not zero. All right. Okay, and then also, I'm really liking that album, Damn the Torpedoes and Full Moon Fever is pretty good. Yeah, I heard those are also pretty good. Yeah, I might. Yeah, those are probably ones I'll probably get at some point. All right. Okay, that's pretty much caught up there. Okay, I'll still go for another 6 more minutes here. So again, any more questions, feel free to let me know. Okay, but until then, might as well say some updates, I guess. So updates with the channel. For October, for the most part, it's not gonna be too different. Still gonna be doing a lot of random topics, like whatever topic comes in, I feel like I'll probably go ahead and I'll do that. We'll let you know the next video will probably be involving my collection again. So something like my collection series, but not quite. Something similar. Like I hope to release that video in the next couple of days. Maybe Monday at least. Maybe Monday. We'll see. Maybe Sunday. I don't know. Probably Monday. We'll go with Monday. But yeah, that's pretty much one thing that's going on. Obviously, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, nothing really in terms of my channel. And Jason, thank you for reminding me. Yep, we're doing a live stream on video games in 2 weeks. That is correct. Again, I was gonna mention it, but I was talking about my channel. I was talking about me for a bit, but yeah, we're doing So me, Jason, the millennial, and also Adam from What the Gym will be doing a live stream. I believe it will be on Adam's channel, and we're going to be talking about our 10 favorite video games. So, and good thing you brought up video games because, and not sure how many people here are into video games. I know Jason, you are, but if you can kind of see, just got a GameCube not that long ago. So I guess that's kind of like my birthday present, even though I bought it for myself. It's my birthday. Might as well indulge myself a bit. But yeah, I guess I'll briefly talk about that real quick. But yeah, I'm currently playing Wind Waker. Let me go ahead and quickly get that. Okay, currently playing Wind Waker so far. I haven't gotten that far into it, but yeah, really enjoying it. I'm still getting used to the control. The camera's kind of weird because I try to like here. I'll get my controller too. Don't knock anything over. All right. So my controller. So for the controller, for Wind Waker, I don't know if it's for every Nintendo GameCube game, but when I try, see, this is what adjusts the camera. So for Wind Waker, usually for a lot of modern games I played before, usually when I go down, usually I'm trying to remember, but usually it'll either tilt the camera up or it will tilt the camera upward. And if you go up, you'll tilt the camera down. This is different where if I go down, it zooms out. And then if I go up, it zooms in. So I'm getting used to that. I'm not sure. Again, I haven't played video games in a bit, so not sure if I'm just tripping or so. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm still playing around with it. I'm still getting used to it, but I am enjoying Wind Waker, by the way. Yeah, and I mean it's great to actually be playing a Zelda game at all, because I've never played the Zelda game till now, and I'm glad that you do that. Okay, Chris Brown. Non-music question: If I was to get a console for a gift, should it be a PlayStation or an Xbox? That's the tough question there. That's like the hardest question for most kids these days. Let me just turn off my lamp. I just want to see. Let me just lower my light real quick. I think that's a little too bright here. Where did I put the remote? Here it is. Just lower the light. There we go. Yeah. That's good. But yeah, to answer your question, I've never played an Xbox, so I can't really compare. So I did have a PS4 though, so I guess I'll go with the PlayStation because I've enjoyed the PlayStation 4 back when I had it before it broke on me. Ironically, it broke the day the PS5 came out, so I don't know if that's a sign or not. But yeah, I go with PlayStation. But Xbox has their fans. They have pretty big hardcore fan base. So yeah. All right, cool. All right. Well, this is about the last minute. So I'm going to call it here. So thank you very much for those who stuck around, whether you stayed through the whole thing or you only came for a little bit. Again, I really appreciate this. This was definitely a lot of fun. We'll see if I do more live streams. I don't know how often I'll do them. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I might do one every so often. Maybe I'll have guests over. We'll see. Again, we'll see about that. But anything else I wanted to say? But yeah, thank you very much. And then also thank you for the birthday wishes as well. Again, 23. I mean, 23. Like it's not a landmark age, but it's an age. I'm getting older, so I'm still kind of young. I'm still considered young. I feel old in heart though. But yeah, that's my dilemma. I'm sure when I get older, it'll be the exact opposite. But I will see what happens there. And let's see, couple more comments here. Jason, I got the PS4 because I wanted to play the Uncharted games. Yeah, I heard they're good. I didn't get to play any of the Uncharted games, so I can't really comment. But I heard they're pretty good, though. Okay, thanks. Okay, you're welcome. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna relax for a bit. We'll see what happens tonight. I don't know what I'm doing yet tonight. I know I'm gonna have dinner because I know my mom's gonna make me my favorite dinner: steak, mashed potatoes, and broccoli. That's the stuff there. So yeah, I'm gonna relax for a bit. But again, thank you so much for joining me. Again, maybe see you next. Well, I'll see. Hopefully, we'll do another one soon. But again, for those who didn't, and this is last thing I'll say. So this is for the people who didn't watch the stream live and are watching this afterward. Then again, thank you very much. Then again, make sure you comment below. Comment below your thoughts on any of the CDs I bought. Let me know your thoughts. Any recommendations also good. So now that's it. So thank you very much for joining me on my first live stream, my birthday stream to be exact. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye for now.